You don't get to ask those questions. What's wrong with you, Mom? Why are you so scared?
Now the #1 podcast, or so her followers will boast, Candace's show has had a meteoric rise in the wake of the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Now just think about that statement for one moment. Someone has had a meteoric rise in the wake of someone else's death. Does that even sound right to you? If she produced some kind of tangible results or found something that genuinely the government didn't already know, or if she were able to uncover the real murder of Charlie Kirk, maybe you could justify that statement, but otherwise, no. Because in reality, instead of that momentum being used to promote candidates or policies or even cultural movements of value, the rage of the right losing one of its own has been poured into attacking or defending some random podcaster.
This is very bad juju right here.
It turns out that the right's political opponents didn't need to do anything. They just need to sit there and let us tear each other apart. Now, in my opinion, this shouldn't really be news, that Alex Jones types have always existed. But never in my memory has such an important moment been so categorically wasted. We've had multiple attempts on Trump life. We got him into office. And then right after that, someone assassinated one of our commentators. And then what? We sat around for 3 months yelling about Candace Owens? That's our great win? Infighting?
Pathetic.
And the worst part about all this is all the grifting influencers just lined up, eager to add to the pandemonium. Because no more are we trying to be men and women of principle. Now it's all about just getting that click and sticking breaking headline in front of everything. The perception of hoarding whatever people think is a right-wing value is oftentimes more important than the actual value itself. Now the question is, why is this happening? I actually have a few reasons, and each one is terrifying in its own way. But ultimately, I'll hope that we're able to move past this moment and, well, learn something from it. The first reason that all this craziness is happening right now is going to be because of AI and all the black box algorithms our social media seem to refuse to let go of. You see, our tech overlords have ordained from on high that we are not allowed to follow who we want, converse with who we please, or enjoy the content we actually desire. No, they know what we want best. Brain rot and politics. 'Tis the season for more brain rot. Fa la 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 la. Because if we spent any amount of time on social media recently, we've noticed one trend and one trend only. And that is that these companies love engagement. Engagement is king to them. It doesn't matter how they get it. 'Tis the season for more politics. Fa la 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 la. Now, most of us know this instinctively. We know the crazy moron who replies back in 13 seconds at 3 a.m. with this crazy diatribe of uniquely cultured slurs specific to your life situation is probably not an actual human. He's probably SIM card 7735 in an underground cell phone spoofing server in New York or something. And the only reason why you keep replying is because you're bored, can't sleep, and you didn't install one of those blue screen light protector apps on your phone. Which, by the way, if you don't have one, you should. It'll allow you to actually be able to fall asleep while you doom scroll. But that's beside the point. Break it with your family too. Fa la 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 la. Now, while you might be a normal, reasonable person, there's a subset of the population who believes that crazy guy at 3 a.m. is actually representative of about 90% of the population. Because all they're being fed by social media is an endless slurry of slop and radicalizing engagement. Those without any form of discernment are easily fooled into believing that their overly hyper-sensationalized reality show is actually real. That brand new account named First Name Bunch of Numbers that was created last week with 8,000 followers and 20,000 replies is being shoved into everyone's faces in every single comment section.
Whoa, what the heck? Beep, beep, beep.
Because for whatever reason, the algorithm thinks they're a really engaged person and they're a positive addition to social media. And the gullible person replying to them just can't wait to respond to that Democrat or that Republican who they know is fully representative of everyone in their party. Yes, you are a poopy butthead. Send. Oh, I showed him. And do companies care? No. Why would they? Oh, and by the way, in case you didn't know, that's also why YouTube Shorts show up on the homepage now. So when you come to YouTube, if you're looking for something, you probably forget about it because you saw something that was really cool in the YouTube Short section. Oh boy, I didn't know that about Marvel. Oh wow, is that Morgan Freeman's voice doing a voiceover on a Jason Bourne movie? Cool. What's the next one? And the next one. And the next one. As long as you remain on the platform and engage as much as possible, they do not care one iota what it does to the country or our social fabric. Get your account banned for racial slurs. Fa la 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 la. And secondly, The second reason all this craziness is happening right now is foreign influence. And I think this is obvious, especially if you spent any amount of time on Twitter in the last few months. If you're in the West, you have a massive target on your back, placed there by every third world and unethical country on the planet. Because where they're from, if you fall for a scam, they sure fall for being too dumb to know it's a scam.
Wow. I hate it.
And if you're in America, then that target is now 24 karat gold with a giant floating sign that says, "Kick me." Everyone, including a lot of people from so-called Western countries, wants to influence American opinion. And what better way to do that than to incite nonsensical and hyper-sensational garbage into our politics, which the undiscerning lap up, and we have to constantly deal with. Cut the cord, please. Global internet was a mistake. And lastly, this is actually the most important reason, and it's that a lot of people on the right, particularly young men, have become disillusioned and frustrated with the country in general. They feel that the government doesn't have their best interests at heart. It doesn't. They feel that their politicians aren't caught up with the times and they don't listen. They aren't, and they don't. And in their eyes, the solutions just aren't coming fast enough. In some ways yes, in some ways no. Now some of this comes from "it's just so obvious" syndrome. Literally a thing I didn't just make up on the spot. Ooh, that was a good idea. And it's the idea that solutions to problems are really obvious and simplistic, which almost never bears out to be true in reality. On the right, it normally shows itself in some parts of the electorate literally 5 seconds ago voted in a new president or a new wave of senators and congressmen, and they expect hearings and trials and people will be arrested for treason, which, okay, maybe in some circumstances, but for the most part, that was never going to happen. And on the left, it manifests as, "Come here, little Timmy. How do we solve world hunger? By giving everyone food. Good job, little Timmy. Now, who has all the food? I don't know. Say rich people. Say rich people." My 3-year-old son came to me today and said we should tax the rich. Now, as far as the right is concerned, many of these people who are disillusioned, and especially the young men, probably used to listen to conservative icons, such as Dennis Prager, Ben Shapiro, or Michael Knowles. But in their minds, these icons just didn't do enough. They didn't fix the culture fast enough. Clearly, they were bought off just like those politicians. Clearly, they have their loyalty elsewhere. And that cynicism, coupled with the disbelief that conservatives could possibly have America's best interest at heart, causes them to look for crazier and crazier sources of change. Because that sensationalism and unhinged emotional ranting from the Alex Jones types at least proves their loyalty to America, right? Right? So if Candace Owens spends 3 months tearing down UPSA and driving a rift intentionally in the right coalition, that just must mean she loves America. She must really want the best for Charlie Kirk's legacy, because she's going all in. She's staking her reputation on finding the truth. And the FBI clearly isn't doing it.
Because instead of saying, "Guys, let's come together and figure out how to work together," she says the stupidest crap. And now everybody's running around divided and broken.
Because they killed Charlie Kirk in broad daylight and we don't care about your stupid midterms.
And if you are against her, if you want proof of her wild claims that Israel, Jewish donors, Benjamin Netanyahu, Bill Ackman, President Trump, Josh Hammer, Kash Patel, the FBI, TPUSA, totally not Erika Kirk, Mike McCoy, the Egyptian Air Force, the French partner with the CIA itself, Bridget Macron, the French Foreign Legion, the United States military, socialist Mormons, the cabal beekeepers, murdered Charlie Kirk, or that his wife Erika really didn't love him, then you, by extension, must hate America. See how that works? It's magic, isn't it? Sensationalism and commitment to the cause can just pave over reason. You don't need evidence. Charlie Kirk came to her in a dream and thanked her for fighting for him, and magically confirmed all those bad vibes that she's gotten from people against her. Yes, I'm sure Charlie Kirk would be really excited that she's spent now 3 months tearing down everything he's ever worked to build and alienating centrists like Tim Pool. But because of the aforementioned sensationalism and cynicism against the country and against people of principle, you can't say anything against Candace Owens. Because being quiet, composed, and respectful doesn't work for cynical people. They see respect as weakness. They see honesty and kindness as something to be deeply distrusted. Because in their mind, if you're a person who tries to maintain some sense of order, some sense of principle, then you're just there to be walked over by the left. Either that or you have some kind of alternative motive. You couldn't possibly be just a good person. And that's where we are right now. I don't know exactly how to deal with this level of cynicism, this growing cynicism with our country and with the world. I don't even know if we can. Cynics are some of the most difficult people to change their minds of anything, because once they've latched on to whatever they believe is the truth, they're not going to let go. And any amount of you trying to convince them otherwise is just going to validate in their mind that they are right. It's the perfect sandwich of self-validating cynicism. That alliteration was not intentional, by the way.
These are people who are clearly playing power games for their own benefit, and they're spinning up these conspiratorial narratives and riding on them.
All I can say is that the right needs to stay focused, stay the course, and realize that these fifth column agitators like Candace Owens, in my opinion, even Tucker Carlson, will continue to pop up more and more as society continues to fracture. Now, as I'm doing this recording, Tim Pool has put out some big statement against Candace Owens, and now she's accusing his brother of shooting up his place, and that's become a whole new feud, and that's broken the dam on dozens of commentators finally coming out and saying, okay, Candace, you guys need to reel it in. This is getting ridiculous. But honestly, this should never have got to this point in the first place. This all boils down to what I said to Jackie Cheo on Twitter. Many on the right have become so frustrated with cancellation from the left that they have abandoned discernment with whom they associate. To which she, quote, responded, "Yes, the right is so allergic to cancellation, understandably, that they make the opposite error. They foolishly accept anyone and everyone and defend all manner of morally and politically toxic behavior. The right has become so jaded by the left and cancel culture that we no longer place our own side properly. People of virtue, people of dignity, people of principle should at least attempt to perpetuate those values into the world. And yes, that means saying something about our own side. Now, no, we don't need to devolve into flame wars the second someone steps out of line, but this tepidness, this coy unwillingness to even voice disagreement over issues that are so clearly wrong is doing more damage than merely dealing with the issues directly. I remember when Ben Shapiro was talking to Megyn Kelly recently, and he mentioned Candace Owens' antics, and Megyn just acted very cautiously ignorant and defensive. And I don't even mean ignorant in a bad way, I mean ignorant in the literal meaning. As in, she had no idea that Candace had spent the last 2 or 3 months trying to destroy TPUSA.
It is evil what she is doing right now. Because
like, I didn't opine on whether it's evil or not, but my position is it's really none of my business. And
why is it? But I have a question. Why is it none of your business?
And she had no idea that she was blaming Erika Kirk of murdering Charlie Kirk. Of course, she never said that.
But if this were on the left and somebody were accusing Charlie Kirk of his wife having murdered him, I assume that you would be talking about it.
Is that what Candace is accusing Erika of?
And I know that even Don Jr., in some of his recent statements, has been cautious to say anything. It's as if each influencer for the past several months has wanted to keep everyone in their respective lanes without getting anywhere close to hurting the sensibility of everyone else's audiences. But that's the thing. Right is right, and wrong is wrong. We don't need to nitpick. It's clear we have a fragile coalition. But we do need to be honest, and that's okay to do. Because what binds a coalition is some kind of common purpose. And that common purpose was defeat the left. Pretty simple. And you can get all sorts of people that consider themselves on the right and even on the center that say defeat the left. But if you have a person that goes off for several months, clearly doing everything but fighting against the left, then you have to come out and say, hey, you aren't part of the coalition. I'm sorry. Because if you don't say that, then you'll have people within the coalition go, wait, what about that guy over there? What's he doing? Then that guy over there is going to start pulling little pieces off your coalition, because the coalition says that an amalgamation of people that have different beliefs, and if you don't keep them all headed in a certain direction, then they're going to split in every direction. So the real solution is people of principle need to stand up and lead the way once again. I think that's what this country really just needs, leadership. But in the end, maybe this was all a good thing for the right. Maybe we need a Candace Owens to show us our deep, abiding flaws. And perhaps as the tide is slowly starting to turn against the Candace Owens and the Tucker Carlson types, it'll show that we really aren't as divided as we feel in the moment, and we just needed some leadership to take that first step. A step that frankly should have been taken ages ago. Let us eschew sensationalism and drama and return to being people of principle. But anyway, those are just my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know in the comment section what you think about this whole situation. In my opinion, we need more people of principle to stand up, but maybe this has all just been a learning process for the right, and we'll come through stronger in the end. And if you like this kind of content, let me know. I don't want to do videos about cultural problems or current events, trying to show some moral tidbit that perhaps someone overlooked or didn't consider. But ultimately, I want to make something that you, the viewer, enjoy. So by all means, give me some feedback on what I could do better, what could I improve. What should I make more of? Or if you're tired of hearing about Candace Owens, definitely tell me that too. But even if you don't go through and binge all my other videos, which by the way would make my day, thank you for stopping by, and I'll see you again next time. Bye.